What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 launches tomorrow on August the 25th. And before you drop onto that colony, there is one real decision waiting for you. Which of the 6 classes do you actually start with? Every class here has its own abilities and its own perks and its own separate progression. So today we are walking through all 6 of them. We will cover what each class actually does and who it genuinely suits. Then I will give you my pick for 3 different kinds of player: solo runners and full squads, and anyone completely new to this series. I will say up front that there is no single best class in this game. The right answer depends entirely on how you like to fight. Let us get into it. Before the picks, here is 30 seconds on how classes work here. Every class carries 2 kit abilities that belong to it alone. Each of those abilities then has its own upgrade paths that change what it does. On top of that sits a perk board, and in this sequel, it grew. You now get 42 perk slots instead of the 32 the first game gave you. Weapons changed too, and now you carry a signature weapon tied to your class. And here's the part that matters most for this decision. Every class levels separately, so picking one is a real-time investment, but that time is never wasted. The specialist at the end of this video literally requires you to level the others first. So there is no wrong first pick here. There is only a slower route to the build you eventually want. Here's the quick version before we go deep. 6 classes, and each one owns a different job on the squad. The Duelist deals flexible damage, and the Marauder brings the heavy explosive weapons. The Machinist builds turrets and holds ground, while the Hunter picks apart weak points. The Medic keeps everyone standing, and the Specialist is the endgame class that you have to earn. Now let us take each one properly. First up is the Duelist, and this is the flexible one. Think of it as your all-rounder that leans hard into raw damage. Its class perk is called Stay on Target. Dealing damage grants stacks that raise your damage by 2% each up to 20%. Those stacks fall off the moment you stop dealing damage, so the Duelist rewards you for staying aggressive and never letting the pressure drop. There is a second perk called Mobility that stacks straight into that. It grants 10% movement speed and 20% stun recovery. It also extends how long your Stay on Target stacks last by 50%. For abilities, you get Burst Configuration, which hands you a huge experimental gun. The other is a shrapnel grenade with a remote detonator or a cluster option. So who is it for? If you mainly want to shoot things, well, this is your starting point. Next is the Marauder, and this is the heavy. If a wall of xenomorphs is coming down a corridor, this is your answer. Its first ability is the Blast Cannon, which you can push toward burning or thermal damage. The second is Titan rockets, and those can take phosphorus or gain homing. Both are built for the moment a room turns into a swarm. It also carries a perk called Reactive Charges. Getting hit by a melee attack triggers a blast that knocks nearby enemies back. That sits on a 30-second cooldown, so treat it as a save. But the perk that really defines this class is Rampage. Here's what the game itself says about it. So every enemy you kill stacks Rampage on you. Hit 25 stacks, and your fire rate and reload speed and movement speed all jump. The cost is stability, and the whole thing lasts 8 seconds. That tells you exactly how the Marauder wants to be played. Keep killing and keep pushing forward. The Machinist is the tech class, and it is the one that holds ground. Its first ability is the Sentry turret. You can turn that into a gas turret or a rumble turret, depending on your build. Its second ability is Bodyguard, which is a turret that flies along with you. That one splits into an artillery version or a shredder version. But the real reason to bring a Machinist is what those turrets do for everyone else. Allies standing near your turret gain 10% damage resistance, and when you stand near it yourself, the turret regenerates 5 health every second. A second perk hands you 10% reload speed and stability whenever your machines get kills. That one stacks up to 5 times. The developers also confirmed your Sentry guns do no friendly fire damage, so this is your class for defending an objective and for horde mode. The Hunter is the control and precision class. It slows things down so that you can hit exactly where it hurts. The first ability is Particle Pulse, which can become a Particle Beam or a Cryo Pulse. The second is Stasis Bolt, and that splits into a Quad Bolt or an Arc Bolt. Then the perks tell you what this class is really about. One is called No Mercy, and it raises your weak point stopping power by 50%. The other is No Rest, and it raises weak point damage with your weapons by 50%. So the Hunter is built for players who aim carefully instead of spraying. It also gets a personal railgun as a signature weapon. The design director used a railgun specifically to counter armored mini-bosses. If big armored targets are the thing that scares you, this is your pick. Now the Medic, and I need you to actually pay attention to this one. The Medic brings a trauma station for healing and combat stems for the squad. Those combat stems heal your teammates and reduce cooldowns at the same time. There is also a passive called Guardian. When you shoot something that is attacking your ally, that ally gets healed. On paper, this is the class that everybody skips, but there is one detail that changes the whole calculation. The developers answered this directly in their own community channel. Here's what they said. Now, let me be exact about this because it changes the medic math. You can still pick a teammate back up when they go down. What you cannot do is bring somebody back after they fully die. The team discussed resurrecting dead teammates, but it did not make the launch feature set. A dead player spectates until the mission ends. That makes stopping damage far more valuable than healing it afterwards. It also makes the medic much stronger than it looks on the select screen. And then there is the Specialist, which is not really a 6th class. It is the endgame goal, and you cannot start as one. To build a Specialist, you have to level your other classes first. Playing as the Specialist raises your Specialist rank. That unlocks unique perks and items and gives you more room on the perk board, but the abilities themselves have to be unlocked on the class they came from. The design director gave a very clear example of that. Get a medic to level 10, and everything that medic can do becomes available. Then you combine it with anything else you have unlocked elsewhere. The team showed builds mixing Duelist guns with Machinist turrets and Marauder rockets, so the Specialist is the reason your first pick genuinely does not matter that much. Every class you level is a piece of that build later. So let us turn all of that into actual picks. If you are completely new to this series, start Duelist. It asks the least of you and it teaches you the game. Its damage perk rewards the thing you are already doing, which is shooting. You do not have to manage a turret or track anyone else's health bar. And that mobility perk makes recovering from a stun much less punishing. The Marauder is the other reasonable beginner pick. Big weapons are forgiving when a swarm closes in and your aim falls apart. Just know that friendly fire switches on at the intense difficulty and above. If you are mostly playing solo, the answer shifts. You have AI teammates, and the early word on those bots is genuinely good. They deal damage, and they tank, and they will pick you back up. One hands-on with 10 hours in a pre-release copy found the most success on the Machinist. A turret is a teammate that always does exactly what you expect. The Machinist's plasma weapons also deal thermal damage, which the early enemies hate, and they only spend ammo when you overheat them, so patient bursts never run dry. The Hunter is the other solo pick worth considering. Stasis Bolt buys you time, and nothing solo is more valuable than time. With a full squad of 4, the math changes again. You get 4 slots now instead of the 3 the first game gave you. That extra slot is what makes a dedicated support player affordable. So if you have a group, get somebody on medic. With no revives at launch, a medic who prevents a death is the whole difference. Then take a Machinist for turrets and a Marauder for heavy clearing. Leave a Hunter or a Duelist to handle the armored targets. That covers healing and area control and single target damage. One more thing about squads that is worth knowing. The co-op is cross-platform and so is the voice chat. Here are those picks in one place. New players start Duelist. Solo players start Machinist. Full squads should make sure somebody is on medic. If armored enemies are your problem, go Hunter. And if you are already thinking about the endgame, the answer is simple. Level everything because the Specialist needs all of it. And I will be straight with you about one thing. Nobody has played the finished game yet, including me. These picks come from what the kits actually do and what the studio has shown. Once we are all properly in it, I will come back with what really works. So that is all 6 classes and my honest read on where to start. Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 launches tomorrow on August the 25th. Now, I want to hear from you. Which class are you actually starting with when you first load in? Is anybody in your group volunteering for medic, or is that still a hard sell? And for those of you who played the first Fireteam Elite, what would you tell a new player? Let me know down in the comments. Subscribe if you want more Fireteam Elite guides as the game lands. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.